ZMUni.
Well, hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining today's webinar. Before we start, I would just like to say a special hello to everyone I met at the Cosmetic Information Network event in London last week. Today's topic is new Chinese cosmetic regulation, claims and efficacies. My name is Luna Li, the Global Business Development Manager for GM Uni Chinese Cosmetic Regulation Compliance Center. I specialize in Chinese cosmetic import regulations and digital marketing, and I'm based in the UK. Just to let you know that this webinar will be recorded, so don't worry if you need to watch it again or if you'd like to share it with someone. I'll be sending everyone who has registered for this webinar a link to the recorded presentation. And let me just remind you that you can add comments and questions on the chat during this webinar. And there will be a Q&A at the end. And if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask at the end of this webinar. And if there's any questions you might have after the webinar, you can also email them to me at luna@zmuni.com, or you can just email them to my company, which is info@zmuni.com. Okay, so according to the various questions and issues people have had since May this year, I will focus specifically on the efficacy claims under the new Chinese regulations. Here are the topics we will cover in today's webinar. First is introduction. Then it will be new regulations updates, and also include the subsidiary regulations as well. The next topic is claims and efficacies, which is the main topic we're going to cover today. I'll explain today. And the animal testing exemption conditions, which follow on from the claims and efficacies. Also, at the start of this webinar, I'll quickly introduce my company, GM Uni, and our one-stop shop services for Chinese cosmetic imports. Since the new Chinese cosmetic regulation came into effect on 1st January 2021, several supplementary regulations have also been published, such as rules on cosmetic classification and categorization, administrative measures for cosmetic labels, technical guidance for cosmetic efficacy claims. We will talk about these three subjects today. As the Chinese industry says, the Chinese cosmetic supervision era 2 is coming. It means some difficulties and pitfalls, but great opportunities have also been brought up. For example, animal testing free products are now available in the Chinese cosmetic markets, as long as they follow the NMPA's requests and provide the correct documents. But now, the duty of the brand owners are increased. For example, the cosmetic registrants are now responsible for both cosmetic safety and efficacy claims in China. What it means is, as a brand owner, you have to understand what cosmetic efficacy claims rules are in the Chinese regulations. China is the second largest cosmetics market in the world after the US in terms of market value. In 2020, the Chinese National Bureau of Statistics estimated total retail sales of cosmetics at RMB 340 billion yuan, with year-on-year growth 9.5%. But these figures, like 340 billion yuan, do not include like wholesale cross-border e-commerce or sales via purchasing agency. Those numbers are not included. Since the new rules had started, due to the safety and quality issues, China is actually getting quite tough on the sales via purchasing agency. For example, China cross-border sales via individual purchasing agency have always been a very, very popular business among the Chinese social societies. But then the scamming problems were quite the same in the past few years. So retail trade is the proper way to go, and it will be encouraged by the Chinese government. If, like our clients, you have cosmetic products and are looking forward to entering the Chinese cosmetic market and would like to do so quicker and easier complying with all Chinese local regulations, then ZM Uni is your partner of choice. We have been helping companies like yours who have come to us and with our help have seen their products selling off the shelves in China. And as ZM Uni services go through the whole life cycle of your cosmetic product, from your product's preparation stage, including import customs clearance, the follow-up adverse reaction monitoring and such, we will help your products through all the regulatory processes in China. Here are a few things about ZM Uni. We are a medium-sized company founded in 2018. We have been working with over 1,000 clients to successfully bring more than 10,000 different cosmetic products to the Chinese market. Yes, I know, it's a fast-growing company. The numbers here also include our Chinese own brands and domestic cosmetic products that have gone through us. Some of our overseas clients told us that they did not expect how big the Chinese market is after their products appeared on the Chinese market. ZM Uni are particularly proud that our pass rate is way above the industry standard. So typically it's about 85 to 90% in China. We have a 40+ cosmetic regulation experts in ZM Uni, and some of them have been in this industry for more than 15 years. Just to say, we are focused on cosmetic regulation with a strong foundation and background in the cosmetic field in China. The new children's regulations are much stricter and difficult to comply with. Only 3 imported children's special cosmetics are currently valid, and one of the 3 entered the Chinese market successfully with help from ZM Uni. ZM Uni do one-stop shop regulation services for Chinese cosmetic imports. ZM Uni are legally acting as a Chinese responsible person, pre-market general cosmetic notification, and the special cosmetic registrant, packaging and reviews, quality management system services, custom clearance, and so on. Well, here is an example based on very new rules that the TikTok China wasn't sure of. TikTok China blocked this business brand from their platform, and the brand asked us for help recently. We quickly assisted this customer to pass the TikTok Chinese mainland platform requirements and start successfully e-marketing in China. Why do I bring this up? Well, so platforms like TikTok, Alibaba, Tianmao, and Taobao in China often gather in Hangzhou, which is China's Silicon Valley. And ZM Uni is based nearby and has a good contacts with these companies. So if you have any questions or troubles with your product compliance with when you're marketing, when do the marketing, you can always call on us to help you. We are more than happy to help you. On this screen, you can see most of our services, and you can find GM Uni services on our e-magazine website. The address is newsletter.gmuni.com. You can scan the QR code here to read this e-brochure on your mobile devices. And the importance is that we offer a suite of after-sales services so that GM Uni's clients can rest easy that they will be the first to know about the latest laws and guidelines from the NMPA. China regulates general cosmetics by region. The coastal cities in China like Shanghai, Guangdong, Zhejiang, Shandong provinces are the main entry points for global imports. GM Uni has 4 branches in mainland China. These are located within the centers of Chinese cosmetic industry. Our headquarters are in Hangzhou, which is known as China's Silicon Valley, and is home to Alibaba as well, China's Amazon. Beijing is the home of NMPA, which is roughly equivalent to the American FDA. Our office there ensures GM Uni is at the forefront of influencing policy changes in China. Shanghai places GM Uni at the center of international trade, and our Shandong office keeps GM Uni where the NMPA frequently asks us to host industry training sessions. In October 2021, which is 1 month ago, last month, Chinese NMPA launched an initiative to rectify internet cosmetic claims and make clear the responsibility for the safety of the original cosmetic product source. As part of that initiative, the Shandong Cosmetic Industry Association held an online conference to align businesses with the new regulations. And GM Uni was invited to provide technical compliance support. So here is the next topic, new regulations updates. Okay, it's time to talk about SAR. SAR, no, not the Russian kind. SAR, CSAR. SAR stands for the Cosmetic Supervision and Administration Regulation, and it was implemented on the 1st of January this year by the NMPA. I talked about this in my last webinar, which is still available if you want to see. Well, the changing of this law will have a revolutionary impact on the cosmetics industry in China, because it means all the supporting measures, standards, and guidelines have also had to be updated, amended, or republished. So legal teams across China have had to work hard to keep up. So it's a big change. Next, cosmetics product classification. Okay, first let's take a look at the EU and UK cosmetic classification. In EU Cosmetic Regulation 1233/2009, the assessment of whether a product is a cosmetic product has to be made on the basis of a case-by-case assessment, taking into account all characteristics of the product. This is a bit similar to the Chinese cosmetic classification, except that the classifications of cosmetic products are based on previously defined characteristics. So let's take a look at this. Here on the screen are the EU common criteria from EU Regulation 655/2009 2013. They are legal compliance, truthfulness, evidential support, honesty, fairness, informed decision making. Those are the key of the common criteria. According to this regulation, products in the EU and UK just need to comply with this criteria. But in China, you have to follow the NMPA rules step by step. There is a very little leeway or scope for different interpretations. You have to follow the rules exactly in China. So let's take a look at the classification of cosmetics in China. This is the Chinese regulation SAR, CSER SAR Article 4. The state shall classify and manage cosmetics and cosmetic raw materials according to the degree of risk. I've translated and highlighted an important note for you here. According to the degree of risk, the state will classify and manage both cosmetics and cosmetic raw materials, which means the efficacies and claims will determine whether the products fall within the scope of the cosmetic classification. And it also shows that the Chinese regulator will classify the cosmetic products. And the classification of cosmetic products are very clear. Today, we won't talk about ingredients or cosmetic raw materials. We will focus on cosmetic products. Ingredients or cosmetic raw materials, we will be covered in future webinar, okay? So let's take a look at the next page. In the Chinese regulation SAR, Article 16, the first part says, cosmetics used for hair dyeing, hair perming, freckle removing and whitening, sunscreening, anti-hair loss, or claiming any new efficacies are special cosmetics, special. All other cosmetics are general cosmetics. As you can see, the state has already given you the procedures to follow. China is very strict and limited about the cosmetic product classifications, whereas the rules in the EU and UK are a bit looser. China has produced a list of specific product classifications into which you need to fit your products. And this is an area which we see many businesses struggle with. So CSER SAR's aim is to better ensure quality and safety and promote import growth. The background of releasing the new Chinese regulation is affected by the fast and ginormous growing internet, live streaming cosmetic sales in China. Live streaming is really popular in China right now. So NMPA decided the best way for them to control the quality and safety of beauty products is to strictly control the cosmetic categories. This has given them the power to achieve control of the cosmetic products' quality in the Chinese market. As NMPA says, a cosmetic claim is a commitment towards consumers. Let's move on to the next part, which is the technical part. Efficacies and claims. So the new laws are becoming stricter in China in response to overpacking and overclaiming in the Chinese cosmetic market. This has been a big problem. For example, due to the lack of effective regulation in the past, some online live sales presenters were very misleading about the products they sold. So one response has been to increase the number of prohibited substances substances, China currently has 1,393 prohibited substances, which is more than even the EU and UK. Another response is to clarify which efficacies can be claimed by cosmetics. Let's take a look. So on this screen, this is the defined efficacy list. On this screen, column 1 is the references number. Column 2 is the name of the efficacies, you can see here. There are 26 existing efficacies plus 1 classification for new efficacies in the Chinese regulation, Rules on Cosmetic Classification and Categorization. If your product claim falls under the first 5 plus A types on the screen of this efficacies I put in the red color, it is classified as a special cosmetics, special cosmetic. I will use Moisturising, which is a general cosmetic efficacy, as an example. So to clarify the difference between an efficacy and a claim, look at this screen. The efficacy is moisturizing, whereas the claim is mild and gentle skincare. This is a very simple example. But if you have any problems, like more difficult one, you have problem deciding what is an efficacy and what is a claim in China, ZM Unis are more happy to help you. Those efficacies from A to 5 we just mentioned earlier are considered special cosmetics. What are the implications? Let's take a look. The first one is number A. This is a summary of an exception claim that any product efficacy that does not belong to the following 26, we'll talk about 26 categories, will be considered as a special cosmetic. Next, number 1, hair dyeing. Hair dyeing efficacy. So generally, they are classified as special cosmetics, but it does not mean all the hair dyeing claimed products are special cosmetics. For example, wash out hair dyes do not belong to this category. Some people will ask why. The definition of this hair dyeing efficacy is to change hair color in a way that cannot be washed away or reversed. That's why. Next, number 2, hair perming. Hair perming products are classified as special cosmetics as well. It means the permanent hair wave, not setting lotions, has to be permanent. So if washing the hair would return it to normal after you use the product, then it's not part of this category. Has to be permanent. Next, number 3, freckle removing and whitening. This efficacies. So in this section, you can see there are 2 types of efficacies, but in China, it often counts as 1. Freckle removing and whitening efficacy helps lighten skin pigmentation and improve the overall skin appearance by physical coverage. The physical coverage method is important in this rule. Just want to mention that this physical coverage method of whitening can be exempt from efficacy claim evaluation test. But in registration procedure, which is another set of requirement, it will still be treated as special cosmetics. But even so, it will be cheaper to register than chemical whitening products. Okay, so also those effects that can reduce the acne marks are also included. For example, product efficacy takes effect through physical methods like covering, whitening by physical methods shall be specified on the label. specified on the label. Acne marks removal is also a special cosmetic as well, but acne removing is a general cosmetic. We will talk about later. So if you have you are unsure about your product's classification, ZM Uni can always discuss and help you to reach a decision. Next is number 4, sunscreening. So sunscreening efficacy means to protect skin or lips from damage caused by specific ultraviolet rays. This is the definition. But just be aware, if the efficacy is claimed for infants or children, then it can only be applied on the skin and not the lips, not for children. Next, number 5, anti-hair loss. Anti-hair loss efficacy where the product claims to improve or reduce the hair loss. If the product claims hair growth by affecting hair growth hormones, then it does not count as a cosmetic. Those 5 are the efficacies for special cosmetics we just talked about. And next, we're going to talk about the efficacies for general cosmetics, which will also guide us to some very exciting news. Animal testing exemptions. But if you have been using Google Translate on the Chinese regulations as published, I feel I should intervene before you attempt to cut your throat in despair. So ZM Uni is here to explain the regulations in English. Here, efficacies from 6 to 26 are considered general cosmetics. Let's take a look. Number 6, acne removing. Acne removing is considered differently to the special cosmetic efficacy number 3, if you remember, which is freckle removing and whitening. It's different. Make sure you write the 0 before the 6 when you apply to the NMPA. If you claim your efficacy as acne removing, then it's a general cosmetic. Acne removing helps to reduce acne or slow down the growth of acne, including blackheads or whiteheads or skin recovery after getting rid of the acne. But if the product claims either sterilization, antibacterial, preventing bacteria, or anti-inflammatory, they do not count as a cosmetics. So they cannot be claimed under acne removing efficacy. Next, number 7, nourishing. So nourishing efficacy helps to nourish the application site. Simple, but just be aware, a product that indirectly has a nourishing effect cannot claim nourishing efficacy. So for example, a cream foundation that also has indirect nourishing effects will be classified as beautifying, like number 12, we'll talk about later, but not nourishing, number 7. Number 8, repairing efficacy. Repairing efficacy helps to repair or maintain the application site to keep it in a normal or general good condition. This is the definition. But be aware of claiming repairing efficacy that mentions or visually presents any diseases on cosmetic product labels. This is not allowed. And neither is using like words or phrases which present a medicinal intent, for instance, treatment. But if a product claims to use for those unusual areas, such as scar, scald, burn, and damaged parts, and etc., then they are not considered as cosmetics. Next is number 9, cleansing. This one is simple. Cleansing efficacy is to clean surface dust, dirt or skin secretion. For example, like face wash or shower gels. Number 10, makeup removal. Makeup removal efficacy is that removes makeup or other cosmetics from human skin surfaces. So like makeup removal cleanser or cleansing oil, those are all belongs to this efficacy category. Next, number 11, moisturizing. Moisturizing efficacy is to supply or enhance the skin's moisture content, oil content, etc. on the application site to keep it moisturized or to reduce transepidermal water loss or like moisture loss. This is the definition of this efficacy, moisturizing. Number 12, beautifying and modifying efficacy. So number 12 is to temporarily beautify or modify the appearance of the application site. It can be restored to its original state after cleansing and removing makeup. But products like artificial nails or solid decorative objects, such as false eyelashes, are not cosmetics. So generally, makeup, like all the colorful makeups, belongs to this beautifying or modifying efficacy claim, and is considered as general cosmetics. Next, number 13, aromatic efficacy. Aromatic efficacy should include aromatic ingredients. It can help modify the body odor or increase the fragrance. For example, a perfume, a scented shower gel. Now, all this belongs to this category. Like in picture you see, room scent products do not belong to this category. And why? Because these kind of products are not touching the human skin, so they not count as cosmetic. Number 14, deodorant. Deodorant efficacy helps to reduce or cover body odors. But if the product purely inhibits the growth of microorganisms, it is not considered a cosmetic. Deodorant efficacy was considered as special cosmetic before SAR, but in this new regulation, it is classified as general cosmetic. So this one will go through notification procedure much faster and simpler now. Good news. Next, 15, anti-wrinkle. Anti-wrinkle efficacy helps to reduce skin wrinkles or make wrinkle less noticeable. Simple. Number 16, tightening. Sometimes we also translate as firming, tightening, firming. It's all either's fine. It all depends on our translation. So tightening efficacy helps to maintain skin firmness and elasticity. Number 17, soothing. Soothing efficacy helps to improve skin irritation and dryness and so on. Also very easy. Number 18, oil control. Oil control efficacy helps to reduce the sebum secretion and sebum accumulation or oil output at the application site. Actually, this oil control efficacy is often claimed in men's cosmetic products. Next is 19. Number 19, exfoliating efficacy. This efficacy helps to encourage the skin exfoliation or the keratin renewal. For example, scrub product or scrub facial cleanser are all counted in this category. Like AHA, alpha hydroxy acid, or BHA, like beta hydroxy acid, exfoliant can make a world of difference in your skin's appearance. Number 20, body refreshing. I like this one. Body refreshing efficacy helps to keep the skin dry or fresh and cool. For example, talcum powder. But be aware that if the product specializes in pathological hyperhidrosis, it's not considered cosmetic. Next is number 21, hair care efficacy. So hair care efficacy helps to untangle hair or beard, prevent static electricity, maintain or enhance the glows of hair. That's the definition. Next, number 22, hair breakage prevention, or sometimes we translate them as anti-hair break, all fine. So this efficacy helps to improve or reduce hair breakage or split ends, maintain or enhance hair strength. For example, some hair conditioners can claim in this efficacy. Number 23, anti-dandruff. Anti-dandruff efficacy helps to slow down the dandruff growth, reduce dandruff attached to the scalp and hair. This is simple. Number 24, hair color protectant. Hair color protectant efficacy helps to maintain the color of the hair before and after dyeing. For example, shampoo or hair conditioner products can sometimes claim this efficacy. But see this, if a product changes the hair color, then it does not belong to this category. Next is number 25, depilation. So depilation efficacy helps to reduce or remove body hair. Depilation often have two types, physical hair removal or chemical hair removal. Both of those types count. Both physical and chemical types count. Number 26 is the last one, assisted shaving efficacy. So assisted shaving efficacy covers products used to soften and expand hair and helps to lubricate the skin when shaving. As long as the product assisted shaving, it is a general cosmetic. So basically, the foaming agent or shaving soap, those are all belongs to this category. But shaving tools are not cosmetics. Okay, those efficacies from 6 to 26 we have just talked about are considered general cosmetics, which also means that you can import to China without animal testing. Now we know one of the most important conditions to avoid animal testing when you are exporting your cosmetic products to China is to be able to classify your products as general cosmetics. ZM Uni will make sure your claimed efficacies are appropriate for a general cosmetic and advise you accordingly. We will review the detailed conditions later. Now, we're going to talk about evaluation methods. These following 4 methods can be used to prove the efficacy of your product. The first one is literature or research data, which is the publicly published technical literature or international laws and regulations currently in effect, or unpublished research results that fully support the product's efficacy claims. Second is the human efficacy evaluation test, which is conducted on humans and clinical proofs the product's claims. Please pay attention to the ethical requirements when relying on this method, though. Okay, so next, third is consumer in-use test, which refers to the process of effectively collecting and sorting out and analyzing the consumer's product use results. Finally, is the laboratory test. This is the one most people need to be aware of. The laboratory test includes, but not limited to, animal tests, in vitro tests on organs, tissues, cells, microorganisms, physical and chemical tests, etc. Okay. But don't worry, we're going to see how does NMPA gives us a door to exemption from the laboratory test, which will include avoiding the animal testing. So this is the English translated version of the chart for Cosmetic Efficacy Claims Evaluation requirements from the NMPA published regulation, technical guidance for cosmetic efficacy claims appendix. Before I get into the details of this chart, just to remind you that this is the requirements for the evaluation of the cosmetic efficacy claims. The Chinese cosmetic notification and registration procedures have other sets of requirements, will be different, okay? You will also notice that although there are 27 efficacies listed on the previous slide, we just talked about, but there are only 20 efficacy claims listed on the claim evaluation requirements on the screen. And why? Because not all efficacy require evaluation tests. And I will go through this efficacy 16 to 19 later. Let's see on the screen. The red from number 1 to 3. Freckle removing and whitening, sunscreening, and anti-hair loss. If you claim any efficacies from these 3, you are required to do the human trial, okay? But importantly, you must do the human trial in the NMPA approved laboratories in China. And currently, only 25 existing human trial labs have been approved by the NMPA in China. And if you remember, these 3 efficacies belong to the special cosmetic categories we talked about earlier. Special cosmetics can't avoid laboratory testing yet, including animal testing during the registration procedures, which is another set of requirements. Next is the purple efficacies from 4 to 6. Acne removing, nourishing, and repairing. If you claim any efficacies from these 3, then you just need to do the human trial in any laboratory. You don't have to use the Chinese NMPA's approved lab, which is much simpler. Also, if you remember from earlier, these 3 efficacies belongs to the general cosmetics categories. Yes, you don't need to do any animal testing at all. From 7 to 13, those 7 efficacy claims which are in blue: anti-wrinkle, tightening, soothing, oil control, exfoliating, hair breakage prevention, and anti-dandruff. So you need only choose one test from either human trial, consumer use test, or laboratory test. So those from 7 to 13, you only need to choose from the 3. The triangle icon at the end in this literature documents or research data section means you can add this part if you want, but it won't matter if you don't. So basically, you only need to choose any one of those 3 types of tests. Okay? Next is 14 and 15 in the light green, moisturizing and hair care. So those can be the simplest and cheapest ones among them all. Basically, you can choose any one of those types of tests. And usually, the literature documents or research data is preferred because it's that simple and easy. You just need to show any documents that show and prove those efficacy claims that you use had a record that the products have no usage problems. As I mentioned when I started this presenting this slide, efficacies 16 to 19 are a bit different. So let's start with 20 and then come back to this. 20, claim new efficacy. This one confuses many businesses because it is a bit open and it says the evaluation method should be selected according to the specific efficacy claim. But what exactly are the rules? Well, I'm going to explain to you. There is a rule. The rule is if I claim a new efficacy for my product that only works by physical methods, or if the new efficacy can be directly identified by through the sense like sight or smell, then you don't need to do any of these efficacy evaluation tests. That's the rule. Okay, now let's talk about efficacy 16 to 19. 16. Specific claims are claiming suitable for sensitive skins, tear-free formula. So if your products claim this efficacy, then you need to pick either human trial or consumer use test. You choose one from these two. Number 17, specific claims about the efficacy of an ingredient, raw material. What does this mean? If my cosmetic claims or I promote advertising an ingredient in my product, I will also be required to provide proof of the efficacy of this ingredient as well. For example, if I have a product that contains niacinamide, a well-known whitening and moisturizing ingredient, which I promote on the packaging with a sentence like contains niacinamide for brighter skin. This sentence, because I have called out this ingredient on my packaging, I will be required to prove this whitening efficacy for both my product, which must be using a human trial because the product is whitening, and for the ingredient itself, which can be by any of the list above. Similar, if the niacinamide is advertised to be both moisturizing and whitening, then I will be asked to prove that the niacinamide can do both these things as well as my product being able to do the same. The rule here is that any efficacies of your products and any ingredients you call out in your packaging should match. They have to match. This may mean you have to claim multiple efficacies and provide separate proofs for key ingredients as well as the product as a whole. Of course, when you can choose any one of the 4 tests or documents to prove the efficacies, you will want to choose the cheapest one. Usually, that will be to provide literature documents or research data. Next is number 18. Number 18 and number 19. Claim gentle, no stimulation, and claim quantitative indexed, like time, statistics, etc. These two are very similar to any other general cosmetics efficacy claims. For example, I still use moisturizing efficacy, but at this time, I specifically wanted to claim it as, let's say, 24-hour moisturizing efficacy with the time limit. So this claim is slightly different from just the moisturizing efficacy. because of this time restriction, 24-hour is time restriction, you have to choose one test from these three: human trial, consumer use test, or laboratory test. Just to give you another example, let's say still moisturizing efficacy, but this time I claim as there are 80% of my consumers says they feel this product is moisturizing. This time I limited the data. 80% of consumers say this is the data. And I have to choose one of the three tests above, which again is human trial, consumer use test, or laboratory test. You can choose any of this. Yes, this slide looks so complicated, but we have just gone through all of this. Well done, well done. Let's have a big stretch. Big stretch. Okay, I have a very important warning for you before we get to the last section. Now, I must give you a warning and a reminder that from 1st January 2022, which is 1 month short, 1 month later, a summary of efficacy evaluation will need to be submitted for all new cosmetic products during the notification and registration. All products that are already notified or registered shall submit a claim evaluation summary before 1st May 2023, which is 1.5 years later. You still have a bit time if you register already. So new cosmetic products are for the first time deadline 1st January 2022, 1 month later, and existing products already filed or registered deadline before 1st May 2023, 1.5 years later. Okay. NMPA requires all product efficacies to be proven. You will need to submit a summary of efficacy evaluation to the online platform specified by the NMPA during the notification and registration process. Your Chinese responsible person will help you to do this. Also, efficacy evaluation methods must be scientific, reasonable, and feasible to sufficiently prove the claim's efficacy, which is very similar as we go through the EU regulation, the common criteria. It's also the similar requires. Finally, we'll move on to the conditions for animal testing exemptions. Let's summarize what we have learned about avoiding animal testing. Before summarizing, I just want to talk about the requirements for QMS certification by UK government or local authority. This is quite a complex procedure, and ZM Uni is experienced as assisting companies to navigate this minefield. Let's take a look. Here are two examples. The left is handed out by the local government, and the right one is issued by Intertech, a certification body. You can use either, but only one issued by a local authority or government will let you avoid animal testing. So it has to be this part, the left. Okay, next is conditions for animal testing exemption. Let's take a look. First condition is the product has to be general cosmetics, as we talked about along the whole webinars, has to be general cosmetics. Next is provide a QMS certificate. We just talked about it's important. You have to get the certificate from the authority, local authority or the government, okay, and to avoiding the animal testing. 3, your product is not intended for infant or child use. If you use for infant or child, then it can't avoid the animal testing, I'm afraid. 4, the product does not use new ingredients that are within the safety monitoring period. That's another condition. And the last condition is the brand owner, the Chinese responsible person, and manufacturers can't have any previous bad records with the NMPA in China. Okay, just to remind you that if you can comply with those five above five conditions, then you do not have to carry out animal testing. That's it. That's the webinar finished. Thank you so much. I'll just review the questions people have had during this webinar. Let's take a look. That's the time limited. Thank you so much, everyone. So I know that you have plenty of questions, and please just send email to us, because 1 hour is going to end very, very soon. So very, very nice to meet you guys. And I'd love to have some feedback about how to improve the future presentations. If you can just let us know and drop us an email to either luna@zmuni.com or my company info@zmuni.com. We will reply all your questions in next couple of days. Thank you. Bye for now. See you later.
GM Uni. Come to find us and trade with China now.